find that the appropriate penalty as to count 2 to be death, dated June 24, 19.
2 weeks after being found guilty of murdering a Fallbrook family, Charles Merritt could now be heading to death row. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
And I'm Steve Price. Today, the jury recommended the death penalty for 3 of the 4 convictions. Merritt was convicted of killing Joseph McStay along with his wife and 2 children and then burying their bodies in shallow desert graves. News 8's Richard Allen live now downtown with more on today's verdicts and why Merritt may actually never be put to death. Richard?
And Stephen, Marcella, jurors recommended for Charles Merritt that he receive life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of his business partner, Joseph McStay, but for his wife, the murders of his wife and 2 young boys, death. Now, it's a recommendation that is complicated by the fact that California now has a moratorium on capital punishment.
The jury in the above entitled action find that the appropriate penalty as to count 2 for the defendant, Charles Ray Merritt, to be death.
Bleary-eyed and somberly bowing his head, Charles Chase Merritt learns his fate as a jury recommends the 62-year-old receive the death penalty for 3 of the 4 counts of first-degree murder he'd earlier been convicted on.
The appropriate penalty as to count 4 for the defendant, Charles Ray Merritt, to be death.
Monday's verdict came nearly a decade after Joseph McStay, his wife Summer, and their 2 children, Gianni and Joseph Jr., were bludgeoned to death in their Fallbrook home in 2010. It wasn't until 3 years later when a motorcyclist riding in the Mojave Desert happened upon their shallow graves outside of Victorville, and the decayed corpses of the 4 family members were discovered. While lacking definitive DNA evidence, prosecutors argued that Charles Merritt killed the McStays over money after he learned he was being cut out of the fountain business that he and Joseph owned together. Prosecutors also say Merritt had stolen $42,000 from their business, which Joseph McStay had discovered.
Guilty of the offense of murder in the first degree.
But even with the jury's recommendation Monday, it could be a moot point if the judge ultimately sentences Merritt to death. That's because last March, Governor Gavin Newsom announced a moratorium on capital punishment.
There's no equal justice in this system. It's a system that is perpetuating inequality. It's a system that I cannot, in good conscience, support.
And while there are currently hundreds of inmates on death row in California right now, the state hasn't actually carried out an execution since 2006. Now, as for Charles Merritt, while the jury made its recommendation for death today, it will be up to the judge to hand down the official sentence. Now, that sentencing is now scheduled for September 27th. Back to you.